My name is Derek Robertson. I'm the co-founder and director of the Jardin Collectif Allée des Tanneries, which is here at the south end of Walnut and Desnoyers Streets in the village des Tanneries, which is the extreme western edge of St. Henry neighborhood in southwest of Montreal.
At first glance, it's not a very attractive neighborhood. You see the highway structure, you see the barren land around that belongs to the Ministry of Transport, so there's not much to look at, and it's not a rich neighborhood. But then if you look a little bit more closely, you'll see that between some buildings there are abandoned spaces that have been turned into garden space and public space.
The kids like it. They like coming here. They're always here. As I said, they've got the garden bed here. We have another flower bed that the kids have done themselves. By connecting the kids to the garden and understanding the fun and the joy of it, it also diminishes the vandalism, the messing around and pulling up plants for no reason.
The village des Tanneries lies alongside the Turcot interchange. This stretch of highway is comprised of 19,000 tons of steel, 170,000 cubic meters of concrete, and is passed over by 280,000 vehicles per day. Built in 1967, the Turcot interchange is crumbling.
So, what do we do with it? The ministry does intend, as they have said, to demolish the whole thing completely. And they want to bring the entire interchange down near the ground. Now, near the ground means they want to put it on berms, or if you want, on a fill, an earth fill, okay, so that it's about at the level of, say, the third or fourth floor of a building. But would sit on this huge earth berm, and then with a few flyovers, obviously. Some of it will be aerial, but most of it would be touching this raised ground. And that's where the controversies begin.
Under the current plan proposed by Quebec's Ministry of Transport, the north side of the village's main street, Rue Cazelet, will be demolished.
So basically it means the end of an entire neighborhood, not just the 400 people who would be expropriated, the businesses, the homes, everything.
Last spring, the Ministry of Transport prepared an environmental impact study that was submitted to the Bureau d'Audience Publique sur l'Environnement, or BAP. This organization's mandate is to hear the concerns of the public and to consult the government accordingly.
But there was barely a paragraph on the impact on humans. They know, the number of birds and fish in the Lachine Canal that might be affected by the Turcot reconstruction, but they wouldn't be able to tell you how many Cedar citizens live in the neighborhood or how many children live in the neighborhood.
Within 200 meters of an expressway, you are in serious, serious danger of early births, premature births, of underweight births, of child respiratory problems, of premature deaths due to respiratory problems, due to cardiac arrest, all these issues. In other words, you're affecting the two extremes of the population, the youngest elements and the oldest elements. They suffer the most, which isn't to say the middle segment doesn't suffer also, but not enough to kill them. So within 200 meters is a deadly zone.
When they build this new highway, when they drop that down to 3 stories, that is a solid embankment of 3 stories with a 1-story sound barrier. 4-story solid wall is not very pleasant for the 21st century, and it's going to imprison this neighborhood more than it is already socially and culturally and physically.
Community members were allowed to express their concerns at the BAP hearings. Many were frustrated and exhausted by the experience.
Some people who feel very strongly about this issue would have liked to have done a much better job in their briefs, for example, and felt like they failed somehow.
First of all, I lost, like I said previously, about 8 pounds in 2 months because I stopped living. I was obsessed with the BAP process and the short time they gave us to hear, to understand, to pronounce on it.
It's upsetting to think that a process that is supposed to be encouraging people to participate and to be an active part of society and to really be involved makes people feel like they've failed.
We are here, we're not leaving, we are building a wonderful neighborhood. Stop trying to crush us with this highway and your concrete and your barrier. It's wrong. You know, these people are dedicated, and mostly we're now, unfortunately, have to coalesce all around this really negative project that is the Turcot. I mean, everything everyone does here is such a positive spirit and open spirit, but there's this negative tone with this Turcot that we have to deal with. And it's an unfortunate thing that neighborhoods have to spend years and years fighting the government for a better project. We deserve much better. Everyone deserves better. And a better project will not be better for St. Henry and not just the Southwest. It will be better for all of Montreal and for the future of Quebec.
The BAP commissioners have until September 11th to present their report to the Ministry of Transport. The ministry then has 2 months to respond with any amendments to the plans. Ultimately, the ministry will need the green light from Premier Jean Charest. Until then, residents of the Village des Tanneries live in uncertainty, making sure to enjoy their green spaces while they still have room to grow.